Hello everyone, my name is Amol Nirgudkar. I'm the CEO of Patient Prism. We're live again on day 2 of Dykema's DSO industry event. It's been a wonderful show, over 1,300 attendees, and everybody who's doing amazing work in the DSO space is here. One of the companies that I've admired very closely over the last few years has been Jarvis Analytics, and we have Melissa Marquez from Jarvis Analytics. She is their Chief Operating Officer. Welcome, Melissa.
Thank you, Amol.
Thank you for coming here because obviously I've been a big fan of you guys for a very long time. Tell us, over the last few years, a lot of the DSO industry has embraced the need for good data and good analytics, right? And Jarvis really was bred and in a DSO, almost in a DSO, right? Some of the bigger DSOs that are today. And they were kind of they built the platform to suit the needs of a multi-location dental practice. Tell us why DSOs choose Jarvis today.
Well, DSOs choose Jarvis today for a variety of reasons, depending on what size they're at and where they're at in their journey. Many times an emerging or a newly formed group will start utilizing Jarvis because they're just not sure exactly what to measure. Okay. So they need a baseline. They want to understand what are other DSOs measuring, and because we were built with DSOs and primarily their feedback that went into the platform, it continues to just be this ongoing alteration of what's relevant in dentistry, especially, during 2020 and the lockdown. People were really interested in measuring hygiene and looking forward and understanding ways that they could impact that as they reopened. So Jarvis is just an evolution, and I think many DSOs will either choose us to help them identify the right KPIs based on what others are measuring, but also because Jarvis can be unique to them. We do custom development for DSOs. They really gravitate to the fact that they have choice. I think every DSO feels unique in many different ways, and they love that they can define their metrics their way.
It's interesting because obviously everybody wants to start somewhere, right? And if you don't have anything and you have rudimentary stuff, the current practice management systems do not deliver that kind of data, although it's all there, but it's just not, it's very hard to find. But it's interesting you say that, sometimes you have DSOs that they want to look at a certain KPI that may be unusual. And for you guys to have the ability to customize to a certain extent what they would like to see that drives performance or that gives them more insights is why I think you guys have been very popular in the space.
Yeah, I think that's true. And I think many times they are also in disparate practice management systems.
That's true.
So they're spending a lot of time gathering data manually or populating pivot tables or, having to measure things in different systems, which, by the way, often measure things differently. How they might define a new patient visit, for example, is different in various practice management systems. So the ability to normalize that data has been very important.
It is so, and we talk a lot about data normalization, but what that really means is, you look at different databases. EagleSoft is one, Dentrix is one, Open Dental is one, and we have Denticon, and each database or each system calls a new patient differently, or each patient calls a record as an AR differently. So to be able to take all that and standardize that and report on that is absolutely crucial, right? Because not every DSO has the luxury of immediately transforming everything into one PMS, although it's ideal.
Right.
You came from a large DSO.
Yes.
What did you find when you came over to Jarvis that, man, I wish I had that? I wish I had this. What were your what light bulbs went off in your head when you joined Jarvis?
Well, in my prior life, I was in many different levels of leadership and operations. And what was kind of alarming to me when I came to Jarvis that I never really had, which we did have our sort of homegrown, our own BIBA dashboard that we put a lot of time and investment into. But what was missing there is that it was heavily utilized by leadership and management. So the executives really had their go-to reporting. The leadership team kind of understood what the numbers were saying, but we never really accomplished getting that same type of information digestible at the practice level and then actionable at the practice level. So it required a lot of, meetings, reviewing the numbers, discussing the root causes, and then creating action plans. You were kind of as the regional, the person that's bringing the information to the practice versus the practice really taking control of their own destiny and seeing their numbers in real time so they can immediately impact change in their practice.
On that note, can you have different roles within Jarvis where if I'm the regional manager and I'm responsible for these 10 offices, then can I create a role for myself within that just reports to me what I need to see, not necessarily the entire organization?
Right. Absolutely. Jarvis is made up of 15 different modules.
Okay.
And again, here's where you can still have some uniqueness and some customization is which of those modules suit the various roles in your DSO the best. And we have our recommendations based on what others are doing or what they were really built for or who they were intended for. But yes, each user is specifically set up with the modules that their role really needs, as well as the locations. Some DSOs choose to give visibility across the enterprise so that they can really compare themselves to others. And then some DSOs really prefer they only see their own information. Either way, each user can be set up uniquely.
One of the big frustrations at DSOs today, even at dental offices, is that there is way too many things that they need to buy in order to run a dental practice. You got to buy a system for reviews, a system for re-engagement, a system to analyze the data. You need patient Prism for analyzing calls. You need so many things. And there is no single source of truth which kind of aggregates all that data, information. I'm not saying we should make one tool that fits. It's hard to do that.
Yeah.
But there should be one place where you can aggregate all that data, surface all the intelligence, so that at each level in the organization, we're able to drive, because there's fatigue, right?
Yeah,
there's so much fatigue. How many windows will you have open every day?
Yeah.
What is Jarvis doing in terms of becoming that single source of truth?
Right.
In terms of bringing integrations? What kind of integrations are you looking at today, and then what's coming in the future?
Well, number one, integrations with companies like Patient Prism that already are masters at what you do. Instead of us inventing that ourselves and trying to compete, why not just partner up with the best in the business? So more and more of those integrations definitely are where we're headed, especially now being part of Henry Schein One. There's already some great technology that's within the same organization that we'll be looking to integrate with. But scheduling is one of those things.
Right.
So we have a great add-on module for online scheduling that also allows, if you have a central scheduling team, they can schedule directly from Jarvis that writes back into the practice management system.
Wow.
It's not just the additional expense of all these various tools that you're purchasing. To your point, it's being able to operationalize it. And the practice team's busy. They're answering the phones. They're checking patients in and out. They're really, you want them focused on the patient interaction and converting treatment versus, having to log into 10 different tools a day. So those are some of the things that we're doing.
You guys
to make
also,
that better.
I look on the website, you also have some financial statement integration. I think, is it QuickBooks or is it Sage? I'm not sure yet.
We have all that in progress.
Okay,
There's
okay.
Sage, Great Plains.
Very nice.
People are using different things, DSOs, and some of that's converting over to the cloud version of QuickBooks, for example.
Nice.
So that continues to be something that's a high priority on our integration list, as well as other practice management systems. We just wrapped up Cloud 9. We're going to be looking at more ortho practice management systems to integrate with those as well.
What's happening on the RCM side? What are you guys doing there?
So right now we have a full RCM module, and while it doesn't necessarily allow you to work the claim in terms of resubmitting the claim in there, we know that Henry Schein One has some great products that allow you to do that. That's on our integration list as well. But out of the box, you can have visibility to all the claims that were filed in each of your locations.
Right.
I think the best value we bring in RCM to the organization is the ability to have you can see all those adjustments that are taking place in every location every day. And that can be a big pain point for DSOs because different practice management systems allow different levels of team members to do those write-offs. Whether you're making a lot of fee schedule adjustments, that can indicate you need to make sure you update the source of truth in your practice management system and have an up-to-date fee schedule. Or maybe you're seeing a lot of professional courtesies or adjustments that really just shouldn't be happening. You can really get control over those things that are happening at the practice level without having to do a lot of manual effort.
The one thing I liked about Jarvis is the ease of use and quick access to enterprise data, and to be able to splice that data the way you want to splice it. If I want to just look at these 5 regions, I want to look at just Florida region, then I can just look at that, and somebody can take action on that. Although, I mean, there's a lot of systems out there that will make you log out of one location, go into another location. I mean, it's just not efficient.
No.
That's not an enterprise product, right? And that's really, really important. Another features I like about Jarvis is the ability to do scenario analyses. You want to talk about that a little bit?
We have a really cool module called the Practice Potential that will deploy to particular clients when they're really looking to make an impact. It's also part of our upcoming solo product that we'll be launching for the private practice. But basically, it allows you to look at 4 distinct areas of your practice, whether that's patient retention, or your hygiene recare, or your unscheduled treatment, even collections. And it's going to show you from your data in real time for any time period that you want to look at. If you want to look at the last 12 months or the last 6 months, you can see what the ROI would have been if your results had been different. So you've got some ways to sort of slide that over and interact with the data to figure out, what if I focus on case acceptance? What the data is telling me is that's my biggest opportunity. What if I were to bump that up by 10%? What would it have meant in terms of revenue for any of my locations? And then you can then go put those things into action.
And that matters a lot, because we all know we need higher case acceptance, but sometimes knowing what that means, I think it drives more action, right? Because if you know, oh my God, if this meter just moves, dial moves a little bit here, then all of a sudden I'm going to say my margins are better, my same store growth is higher, and I love the fact that is possible. Last question, how has it been since the Henry Schein 1 acquisition? Obviously we've everybody's known about this now that this happened, but what do you feel being part of a larger organization like that?
Yeah, well, I came from a larger organization and then went into very much a startup for the last year and a half, but we've had really rapid growth. We loved our ability as a younger organization to be very agile and scale. And Henry Schein 1 is really developing their own technologies as well, but they want more of that type of agility across the board. And so it's been fantastic. We've got some great partners that really champion the product. And I think, they've made it clear to us as a team that they want us to maintain that speed and maintain that growth, and continue doing what has really set us apart, which is partnering with DSOs and our practices, listening to the feedback, and then quickly applying that so that you get a quick return on what you're looking for.
Quick is the really operative word, right? Because the needs are changing. You want to be able to iterate quickly and deliver insights, not just data that's out there, sitting there, but deliver insights to be able to take some action on it. I've been a big fan of the company. I'm a big fan of Steve, your founder.
Yes.
He's been a great influence on me personally, as well as our organization. He's made us better. He's always been there whenever we needed help or advice or anything else. So I'm deeply grateful for the friendship and the association we've had with you, and we're super excited about the integration with you guys. I think we're going to work on that. To make it even more robust, so that people don't have to log out of Jarvis to be able to see all the actionable insights. And I think that's where we feel, regardless of how important we think we are, we really think dental practices need one place to go to, where they can look at all of it, right? And I think Jarvis is a great place for that to be where there's a single source of truth. Thank you, Melissa.
Thank you.
Pleasure.
Thanks for having me.
Thanks.